Elevator. Ethan had never been afraid of elevators. Not until that night. It was nearly 2 a.m., and he was dead on his feet after an exhausting double shift at the bar. His body ached, his mind fogged with fatigue. The subway had stopped running, and his phone had died just as he tried calling an Uber. That left one option: walking. He sighed, rubbing his eyes as he pulled his hoodie tighter around him. His apartment was still a good 20 minutes away, and the city streets at this hour felt too empty, too quiet. That was when he spotted the old apartment complex. The building had been partially abandoned for years, but it still had a side exit on the 7th floor that led to an alleyway, a shortcut. If he cut through, he could shave at least 10 minutes off his walk. He had done it before. But as he stepped into the dimly lit lobby, a strange unease settled over him. It smelled wrong. The air was stale, tinged with something sour and metallic. The overhead lights buzzed faintly, their glow flickering against the faded wallpaper. Near the entrance, a row of broken mailboxes hung open, revealing letters left untouched for months. The elevator doors were already open. He hesitated. Something about that felt off. Still, the stairs would be worse. His legs were already burning from hours of running drinks back and forth. Ethan stepped inside. The moment the doors slid shut, the air changed. The space felt too tight. The light overhead flickered, buzzing loud enough to crawl under his skin. Then, the elevator began to move. 2, 3, 4, 6. Ethan frowned. Wait. 6? He had been watching the numbers. It had skipped a floor. Before he could process that, the elevator jerked violently, making his stomach lurch. Then, it stopped. Not on a floor. Not anywhere. Just stopped. Ethan's pulse spiked. He exhaled slowly, pressing the door open button. Nothing. His fingers hovered over the panel. He tried the emergency call button. Silence. A cold weight settled in his stomach. Then he heard it. A whisper. Soft. Right behind him. His breath hitched. Ethan turned, his heartbeat hammering against his ribs. No one was there. The space behind him was empty. A nervous chuckle escaped his lips. Jesus, man, get a grip. But then, the whisper came again. Softer. Closer. Not behind him anymore. Above. A slow, creeping dread washed over him. His eyes drifted upward. The maintenance hatch. It was barely visible in the dim light, a small metal panel on the ceiling. And it was open. Just slightly. Just enough to see them. Fingers. Pale. Thin. Curling around the edge of the hatch. Not moving. Just holding. Ethan froze. The elevator creaked. Then, the fingers began to move. Slowly. Pulling the hatch wider. An inch. Then another. A shape began to emerge. A head. The light flickered violently, casting shadows that twisted and warped against the walls. And for the briefest second, Ethan saw its face. Wide eyes. Too wide. Staring. Then, the lights went out. Total darkness. Silence. Ethan couldn't breathe. Then, a breath. Right next to his ear. Found you. The elevator plunged downward. Faster. Faster than it should. The walls shook violently, the floor rattled beneath his feet. Ethan gripped the railing, his mind spiraling into panic. Then, a violent jolt. The doors burst open. Ethan stumbled out, collapsing under the cold, hard tile of a dimly lit hallway. His ears rang, his chest heaved. The hallway was empty. He turned back. The elevator was still there. Doors open. Silent. Still. The hatch on the ceiling? Closed. Like nothing had ever happened. His stomach twisted. He scrambled to his feet and ran. Down the hall. Down the stairs. Out into the freezing night. When he finally reached his apartment, his hands were shaking so badly that he dropped his keys 3 times before getting the door open. He locked it behind him, chest rising and falling in sharp, gasping breaths. For a long time, he didn't move. Didn't think. Didn't even let himself breathe too loud. Then, slowly, he turned to his window. And his stomach dropped. The curtains. They were open. And down on the street, someone was looking up at him. Standing directly under the streetlight. Not moving. Not blinking. Just staring. Ethan shut the curtains. He never took that shortcut again.